Hey everyone, this is another speed build that I've done. This is a build from Aluna Island. It's on lot 23, which is 16 Aluna Drive. I've decided to call this one the Sentinel because it sounds much more sophisticated than what I was originally calling it, which was Little Lighthouse. The name Little Lighthouse comes from the loft that's up on the top floor, which ends up happening because I couldn't get the roof to work in a decent way. I know everyone says that roofing is like a major struggle in the game, and I'm just gonna add my voice to that pile of voices because roofs are just... why? Anyways, this is gonna be another older house because old houses are just my thing. That's what I end up building all the time, apparently. Maybe I should try to make a modern house at some point, but they're just not as much fun for me. I like doing all the little old details and stuff. This house is actually built next to the military base and the hospital on Aluna Island, but I'm thinking it was here before those got huge, and so back then it used to have a much better view. So that would explain kind of the loft area that you can see out of. Though maybe that loft area used to be an attic, and this family just repurposed it as a real room. Anyways, you'll see it later. It's one of the last things I actually do in this build. But here we're working on the entrance, getting all the doors in everywhere, because doors are important, so you can get to place. What am I saying? Anyways, so on the second floor we'll have 3 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms, and on the bottom floor it will be, you know, the normal stuff: kitchen, dining room, living room, powder room, and then at the top is a loft. That's gonna be the family room that they've made. So like I said, it could have been maybe repurposed from an attic, or it could have been something else originally that we don't know. It could make a really nice office too if you needed it, or potentially another bedroom if you really, really needed it. The thing is, it's only accessible by a ladder from the Island Paradise expansion pack, so you kind of have to consider that when you're considering what room you want to put it in there, which is why I kind of made it more like a casual family hangout space. So, anyways, you'll see that when we get there. Even though this house is old and it definitely looks older on the outside, I wanted to make it a bit more modern on the inside, kind of like a surprise. Like, you'd expect it to be super old everywhere because it looks old from the outside. But then you walk in and slowly, room from room, you see all these really modern touches, but not like the super clean, metallic, almost futuristic aesthetic. It's more like playing with different elements of style and playing with different mixtures, especially colors. I have lots of fun playing with colors in here. Usually I'm very set in my ways of colors, and there are certain colors I just don't use because I don't like them a whole lot, or I try to use them sparingly. And this one I went out and like all out and I made each room have its color combination, and I tried to stick pretty closely with that, but the color combinations are more dramatic and more vibrant than what I've done in the past. So each room kind of has its color scheme. The master bedroom has 2 main colors, though one of them technically not a color, and one of the kids' bedrooms has 2 colors and a black, and the other kid's bedroom has 2 colors and wood, so they all kind of stick to that. The fun part, fun for me, I'm, so lame. The fun part is that in the kitchen it's kind of the primary colors, and then in the living room and the dining room I use the same color scheme because they're open to each other, so you can see one from the other, and those ones have the secondary colors. So that was me being all dorky, playing with colors that way. Anyway, as you can see, we're starting on the master bedroom now, and definitely wanted to go for some more sleek, masculine type features for the furniture. More angular, darker, because the house itself, older houses tend to read a bit more feminine for some reason, at least in style. They have the softer colors, soft curves, everything's gentle and delicate, but masculine things are the dark colors, the saturated colors, hard corners, lots of wood or metal, that kind of stuff. So I was looking more for angular things and dark things, at least for this bedroom, to make it more balanced between the 2 partners. And I ended up going with this color scheme that was actually inspired by the blank wall texture color. So like in Sims 4 you have the actual dry wall that you can copy and paste, but this is just blank wall here in Sims 3. And I kind of liked the dark gray with the red, and I stuck with that for this room. So it's lots of this dark red, dark gray, and then neutrals like the cream on some of the pillows, and white and wood, because wood is technically a neutral. I mean, you wouldn't say it's wood color. Maybe you would. I don't know. Wood. I keep doing that in my videos, making wood puns. Anyways, for this bedroom, I wanted to keep it rather sleek and simple, but still have storage. So it's got some of the old stuff, like maybe original to the house again, and some of the new stuff that's more tailored to this modern aesthetic. And here is this cute little vanity that I want so much in my life, because it's stationed right by that window. You'd get all the natural light, that nice big mirror. Ah, it'd be a dream. So here I am trying to get a dark gray for the walls to match. So this is very dark charcoal gray, like almost black, but it makes it really cozy and super modern. Changing the master bathroom. I add more details later, but the wallpaper was just not working, and I figured then that I would start to make rooms more color themey, like this family is more into colors. And then because the windows were so not matching on the inside, I painted only the inside of the windows so that each room gets their own color of windows on the inside, like window trim. So this room kind of has a strange color scheme. I'm not sure I'm a fan of it, but because those sinks that are old, it would look like it's original to the house, have only certain floral patterns on the inside, I tried to stick with that, but I liked the green, so it ended up being kind of like gold and green and purple in here, which I don't know how I feel about that color scheme. I wouldn't do it quite those saturations or hues of those colors, but anyway. Oh, now we're doing the rest of the wallpaper throughout the house, which is tricky to do because you can't have the crown molding or the floor molding. What's that one called for the ground? Baseboards? Yeah. You can't have those on these floors because they go up more than one floor and you can see the tops and the bottoms, so it's a little tricky figuring it all out. But only a little bit. I mean, it obviously worked out just fine. And then for lighting, again, I wanted something that looks kind of old, but not in every room, just in rooms that are more common rooms. And then recessed lighting for the rooms that look like they've been touched up more. And, you know. Ooh, the dining room. Are we doing the dining room right now? No, I think we're gonna do the kitchen after this, but we're just figuring out a table for it. And I wanted that kind of rustic looking table because I thought it was a nice juxtaposition to the lamp that you can kind of barely see. It's a little bit transparent there. And now to the kitchen. So the kitchen needed a little eat-in space there because I feel like that's something that lots of older kitchens have. A little dine-in nook or area. Lots of kitchens now just have islands or peninsulas or bars instead, but this one has just a little table. And then playing around with building the fridge into the house, kind of, so it looks more built in, more seamless, and I like that look a lot. It really suits this house too. And since this is technically an updated kitchen, I mean, it works nicely. This is a strange corner, I have to admit that. I had some difficulty working with this strange floor plan I made for myself in the kitchen. So I kind of, cheat a little bit with a diagonal counter and some columns. So it's not an optimal floor plan, but that's kind of what you see in lots of old houses. Especially old houses that have especially old houses that had to be reworked or changed and updated. People have to play around within certain constraints with older houses. They don't have limitless options. So this room, like I was saying, is kind of the primary colors, and then that's dining room. Dining room, you'll see its colors later, but this is a peek into it. I liked the green for that one recolor, but I didn't like the texture for it so much, so I softened up the texture, not so much wood grain. And then out comes to play the other color. We got some of that bright red orange. I wouldn't know what to call it, but it's kind of between orange and red. Maybe scarlet or vermilion or some fancy name like that. So this room is going to have those two main colors. And I wanted to do like a dark gray in here, but then it didn't seem quite right to match it exactly to the bedroom, so it ends up being a little bit little bit purple. And then this one is the blue and the yellow mostly, with a few touches of red. And there's not going to be red windows, don't worry. That would look a little ridiculous next to the pastel blue. So coming back here and filling in the dining room a bit more, finding touches for all around the house, trying out the ivy. I don't remember if I leave that ivy on that wall though. I did build this forever ago. Lots of these builds that I'm uploading now are recordings from like almost a year ago. Anyways, this room gets the green windows to go with the green themes. And I think it looks kind of cool next to that dark gray purple. Like, it's dark gray, but it's like hinted with just a touch of purple, so it's interesting. And it looks really nice next to the orange, and looks interesting next to the green. You know, I hate orange, so that's a big step for me to admit that it looks nice next to orange. Making a miniature gallery wall there, and then I really liked that round thing, so I put it to use in here. But using some shelving to make this place look a little fuller and not so awkward. So I can put more knickknacks in, because that's my favorite, putting in all the clutter stuff and making places look lived in. So this is gonna get some tea and coffee stuff around on the shelf, but of course it needs the requisite sponge and dish soap and paper towels that every house has to have somewhere. So I think that might be just about the only touch of like red that's in this room, but it stands out enough that I think it stands on its own. Like, it calls enough attention. It makes things beautiful all by itself. Though oh no, I changed it to green to go with the plant. Ah, now I remember what I did. And then here we use more yellow, the lemons, and we put the lemonade thing in this corner because it was an awkward corner. Why not fill it up with something? And then of course you need rugs, because if it's a memory foam rug, it's the best to stand on. Oh, I think we finished the dining room actually. Sorry I missed that end. And here is the kids' bedroom. This bedroom is so sophisticated for a kid. And again, it could be a boy or a girl, it doesn't matter to me. And it's inspired by this painting of, well, I guess it's a tapestry actually, of the world, and it looks, you know, super vintage. So there's lots of vintage travel things all around the room, and I pull out a red from that tapestry and a blue from that tapestry to make it a color coordinated room to match the rest of the house and its color coordinatedness. And this is a really strange, long, small room that you would find in an older house for sure. So making it work was a bit of a challenge, as you can see with me struggling to get in a desk. But this kid, since they're a traveler, I figured they would travel mostly through books because they're a small kid. I mean, they can't go on a plane by themselves. So they're going to be a bookworm again. I really like bookworm Sims apparently, but I mean, putting in books is a nice touch. I love putting books around Sims houses. So they're going to have like the desk there that they would study at and look out the window, and they could look over to the tapestry and just daydream, just books piled around. They have a bookshelf behind them that they can grab from. But this room is kind of almost a hallway of a room, so it's a little difficult to make it work. And here we're going to add that blue, so we have some of the red and some of the blue. And because they're warm and then cold, they play off of each other pretty well. They make more energy in the room, so it's not so calm and serene. If you have cool and cool, it's more calm and serene. But if you have cool and warm, there's a bit more energy, a bit more vibrancy in the room. And it was fun to play around with that. Though this room ends up having a bit more blue than red, so it can be a little bit more calming, because I think if you had an all red room, it would be a little too energizing. It would keep you up at night, maybe. So yeah, this globe is custom content. It's beautiful, and you can have so many different colors. The only trouble is, if you have the lights on, it's a little tricky to see it. So you don't really get to see it so far. I should have turned it off for the screenshots too. I think I forgot to do that. But it's very beautiful. And so I wanted to keep the pictures too kind of travel themed. So there's one with hot air balloons. Can't really see it with the brightness turned up, unfortunately. And then just, what's the one that ends up here? Just cool patterns that go with the red and blue colors, because I couldn't have too many crazy things in here. We want to keep it cohesive because it's such a small space. But because it's a weird small space, I ended up stacking rugs, which is a little bit bohemian, which would go kind of with the travel collected vibe. And then at the foot of the bed, since there's that awkward space, we just filled it up with little knickknacks from travels. Maybe this person got them as gifts when other people went traveling. Maybe their parents were like, here, we know you like this kind of stuff, so you can hold on to it. Or maybe they went to a thrift store or something and found some cool things that other people had got from around the world. So yes, one of them is a barrel, and that's kind of weird, but I liked the way it looked, and this room needed some more round elements. There was lots of squares and angles in here already. And then suitcases, because that's travel-y, but they're like the cool vintage suitcases. And then we're gonna put some puffins on top, because those puffins are super cute. And they could be a travel thing, like they could be a little knick-knack from a place in the world that has puffins. And then the little Japanese doll and a sailboat, because those are travel-y and from different places. And then here, I play around with some different things, but it ends up being plants and like a little box, music box thing, yeah. And that painting on the wall is one of those scrolls kind of decorations. I think it comes from a store set, maybe. I don't even remember. And a nice old looking watch. I mean, not watch, clock. Sorry. And then we're going to play around with the colors here. So this wall is going to be blue. And that one, I think, yeah. And then to make it pop, the door gets to be red instead of blue. Because if it were blue, it would fade away. But I like the pop of red over there. It draws some nice energy from the red bed with the red lamp next to it. Balances out the room a bit. Oh, and I'm getting to use the new chimney that I got from the mill set. So this is me playing around with more stuff from the mill set, of course. The stairs and the chimney stuff. And this is the main bathroom that's going to be shared by the 2 kids that live in this house. Again, it's a strange floor plan, but it works still. Well, I mean, I haven't player tested it, so I hope it works. But it doesn't really matter, because my houses are all for looks. So it's going to have little knickknacks on the vanity and medicine cabinet for extra storage. And it's actually got a really also sophisticated color theme. I keep using that word, and I'm sorry, but I get stuck on words apparently when I make these videos. It's very embarrassing listening back to them, just being like, wow, let's make a tally of how many times you said that word. Anyways, this bathroom gets to be like black and white and gray with a touch of blue, and it's really pretty, I think. And I like the black window in there. I think it adds a nice balance. I wish I had window trim that I could paint in my windows, but none of my windows have trim. It's a shame. Anyways. And there's also a touch of the travel brought over in here, like that planter looks very exotic, and the mirror there is from a store set that I think was based off of Thailand. Anyways, this one is ended, so go to part 2 to see the rest of the rooms. See you there.